Hi, hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to go over my AEW Jazzwares Loose collection. So as we know, Jazzwares has stopped producing this line, but I think it's still fun to look and see what these collections look like. So that's what I'll be doing today. I don't have them arranged in any particular order. I'm just going to go through. I've got a couple lines, just kind of like note everyone, take a look at everyone, and that's going to be it. So let's get started with my AEW loose collection. So I'm going to start with Cody Rhodes. He's from Series 1, Unrivaled. I wasn't collecting this line when it very first came out. So this is one that I picked up on sale off Ringside Collectibles. It's the only one from Series 1 that I have, and for a long time, this was my only Cody Rhodes figure. I've got him followed up by the Young Bucks. So these were the first ones that I actually picked up in the wild. I found one in retail, and then the other I had to order online. And then, of course, after I ordered it online, I started to see it in the wild in retail again. So we've seen a lot of different versions of the Young Bucks in the Jazzwares line. I think this was one of the first, and this is the only one I got. We even had like Walmart exclusives. But I passed over all those because I was pretty happy with these ones. Kenny Omega. So this is one of the first figures from the Unmatched line. I think it's a good Kenny Omega. He's another one that had a lot of different figures come out, including Supreme editions. Here's that famous Hangman page from Unmatched. I think it was Unmatched 4. He was just on the shelves forever. This is an example of the closed figures just don't seem as popular as the ones in wrestling gear. Moving along, Sting. I think Sting is the only one I have 2 copies of in the Jazzwares line. The first one is the Supreme Edition. Went on sale at Walmart around the time Walmart stopped carrying the Jazzwares AEW figures. It went all the way down to $13, I believe it was. So I picked it up for that. And this is a really nice Sting. This other Sting is from Unmatched 2. It's one I thought I would never be able to find in retail. I did see it in retail, but because I didn't think I would see it in retail, this was something I ordered off Ringside Collectibles. The Supreme Edition reminds me more of his WCW or TNA look, whereas this one with the t-shirt and especially the AEW logo reminds me of his AEW look. Moving along, we got CM Punk. This is, I think, also Unmatched 4. He's wearing the long tights that he wore against Darby Allin and then never again. It's my understanding this was the first CM Punk to come out in many, many years. So this was an exciting figure to get. Although the Supreme came out after that, there were other versions that were maybe more popular. And of course, now with Mattel, we can get a new CM Punk every 3 waves or so. We've got a little more coming up next. So there's Adam Copeland. If we scooch over just a little bit, you can also see Christian Cage. These were from a World's End 2-pack. This was around the time that Target stopped selling AEW figures. That 2-pack just kept getting lower and lower. It got down to around $10 or $12 or so I picked it up. So here's another Christian Cage. I guess he's another character that I have 2 copies of or 2 versions of. This is from Unrivaled 9. Unrivaled 9 was on Walmart shelves for a really long time. This was cool to get a Christian Cage because I was never collecting when Mattel was producing Christian Cage figures. This one, for me, standing up, he has a propensity to fall down. He's not doing it right now, which is great. Overall, nice figure. FTR, I'm not sure exactly which Unrivaled these guys were in. This is a good tag team to be able to get. Lucha Bros, Penta, and Rey Fenix. Of course, now they have Mattel figures coming out. I've made do with this Penta for quite a while. I think it's a great figure. I haven't updated any of the different colors that we're seeing with Mattel, although I might do that kind of in the near future. I don't think we see as many Rey Fenix figures come out. So we did have this one with the Jazzwares line, and I think there's like a defining moments and maybe a couple more coming out with Mattel. Chris Jericho. I think this is a really great Chris Jericho. This is from Unrivaled 6. There have been others that have come out, but for me, this one is just really good. John Moxley. So I wasn't really collecting when the Dean Ambrose figures were still coming out with Mattel. Maybe at the tail end when I first started, we continue to see some basics. But for an AEW collection, it feels like John Moxley is a must-have. His hair's a little longer here, so I never got one with a shorter haircut, and I'm not sure that they produced any that looked quite right. Darby Allin. So this is from the beginning of the Unmatched series. He had a few figures come out. This is the only one that I got. I think this is a perfectly good Darby Allin. Mr. Brody Lee from that Unmatched 3 where they put out a whole wave of Dark Order figures. I think Mr. Brody Lee was the most coveted of those. The only other loose one that I have from that set is Anna Jay, and you can see her right there. Moving on, another faction. AEW has always had a thing with factions. There's Orange Cassidy. This is, I believe, Unrivaled 8. So we've got Orange Cassidy. We've got Trent. We've got Chris Statlander. There were a couple others like Chuck Taylor. I didn't pick up Chuck Taylor. He was in retail forever, but I just never picked him up. These guys are from, I think it was Unrivaled 5, Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy or Jack Perry, and Luchasaurus. They had other characters, but these are the only figures I ever got of them. Dustin Rhodes, I think this was Unmatched Series 1. So it's always nice to get a Dustin Rhodes. I never got a Gold Dust figure, so this is as close as I'm able to get on that. And then the end of this first line, we've got Powerhouse Hobbs. He was also Unrivaled 9. Now he's known as Royce Keys. I'm sure Mattel will be doing some figures with him. So I'm going to just scooch back a little bit. Then we'll go into row 2. There's Will Ospreay. He was an Unmatched, I think it was Unmatched 11, compared to like the Supreme and some other editions. Not as many bells and whistles, but still a perfectly nice figure. Brody Lee, I think he was an Unmatched. He also had a Walmart exclusive where he had the paint on his face. The Acclaimed seems like a thing that they really shouldn't have messed with. I thought they were really popular as a tag team. They've tried to split them up and separate them, and I just don't think it's quite the same. So these were exciting for these to come out together. I think it was line Unrivaled 14 or 13 or something like that. Mercedes Monet, this is part of my last run with AEW figures. I think it was Unrivaled 17. If you can see, she's got these high heel golden boots. So it's not great for Fig Fed, but you can still do it. Thunder Rosa, I remember at one point she was just like really big. This is from Unrivaled 9. Nice figure. Mariah May, Blake Monroe, Unrivaled 18, one of the last AEW figures that we saw. Walmart exclusive, Adam Cole. He had a few figures come out, not too many, but he did have a few come out. So this was a nice one. It eventually went down on clearance. So if you're able to get it at that price, good for you. Ricky Saints, he had a few different Jazzwares figures. This is the most recent one. He had some special editions, all those kind of things. He was, of course, now having Mattel figures come out. Ethan Page, same thing. He only had, I believe, one Jazzwares figure, but he's starting to have more and more Mattel figures come out. Here's Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian. They're from Unrivaled. I think it was 5. So in the early stages of AEW, a really strong tag team. They even came with AEW tag team titles. There's Jamie Hayter from one of the later Unmatched series. I think it was like Unmatched 10 or 11, something like that. There's Sheeta. She's one I was able to pick up at $5.99 at a Burlington. Nice figure, but just didn't sell particularly well. Mark Briscoe, really cool figure. He's from one of the later Unrivaled series, so we can see him there. Eddie Kingston was also from that Unrivaled 9. He also had a Walmart exclusive and a couple different versions. Not too many, but he had a couple. Bang Bang Gang, we've got a couple of those here. Juice Robinson, really cool looking figure. Only one that came out, but still really nice, really cool. Austin Gunn, so part of the Gun Club. I think this was an Unrivaled 16, where the tag team came together. Wardlow from Unmatched 2. Again, there was a point where he was just really, really big. Had potential to be a huge star in AEW, and it just never really happened. Lance Archer, cool looking figure. Stayed on shelves for a long time. I think it was Unrivaled 9. Maybe it was Unrivaled 7. I actually think that's correct. Roderick Strong, Unrivaled maybe 17. Oh no, this is Unmatched. This was a later Unmatched. I had a Mattel basic main event of Roderick Strong that broke, so I was excited to get this to get a fully functional copy of him. Daniel Garcia, He was Unrivaled 15, cool figure. I remember he was a lot bigger at 1.2. I remember he had his contract come up and he decided to resign with AEW. He came back and he's just not kind of where he was at that point. Santana, Mike Santana, Cruz Montana, whatever the name is. Here he is. Not really the best look for him. He looks a lot different now, so I'm excited to see what Mattel does with that eventually. And then Mark Quinn, I didn't get his tag team partner on Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy, but I did see him in the wild, so I picked him up. Okay, so that is my collection of loose AEW figures. So I think overall a really nice line. Good way to get some characters that Mattel isn't going to make, or get some characters that Mattel hasn't made yet. But overall, a nice line, and I'm sorry to see that they're not being produced currently. So let me know, what is your favorite AEW Jazzwares figure? Thanks for watching. See you next time.